Hello, callers. Welcome back to Viva Barca. Welcome to another interesting episode where we are going to be discussing on some interesting updates. We start with Franck Kessie as it is a year we go. As Barca and Ahli have reached an agreement over 15 million euro deal for Franck Kessie. We are going to discuss that as we move ahead. Secondly, talking about Joao Cancelo, as Barca are reportedly worried about the priority target's attitude, but Xavi is confident of handling him. We are also going to be looking at that. So guys, as we get right into the full stories, please do ensure to subscribe if you haven't. Turn on the post bell notification to always stay notified whenever I post a new video. Consider liking the video and please watch it right up to the very end. Barcelona and Ahli have reached a verbal agreement over the 15 million euro transfer of Franck Kessie, according to a report by transfer expert Fabrizio Romano. The two clubs remain in contact to check the documents before signing the deal in the coming hours, Romano adds, while giving his trademark "Here we go" seal on the operation. So Franck Kessie had initially been reluctant to leave Barcelona this summer, having joined the club only last year from AC Milan as a free agent. But having accepted his fate, the midfielder held out for a transfer to the Premier League, despite being concrete interest from Juventus and Saudi Arabia. As such, talks with Al-Ali had stalled completely, but the player opened the doors to a move to the Middle East with no offer arriving from England, and talks picked up pace once again over the past couple of days. Now, there is a total agreement between the two clubs, while Kessie has now agreed personal terms over a 3-year contract until 2026. Some media outlets suggest that he will receive wages worth around 20 million euros per season at the Saudi Pro League outfit. Romano states that the operation that will see Franck Kessie join Al-Ali will leave 15 million euros in Barcelona's coffers. There have been some contradicting claims regarding the price tag though, with some journalists suggesting it to be between 11 and 12 million, while Tony Juanmati claims it to be a little lesser than 10 million euros. Irrespective of that, though, it will be an important deal for Barcelona from an economic standpoint, as the entire transfer fee they receive can be chalked as net profit in the books since Kessie arrived for free last summer. On top of that, the midfielder's wages will also be cut from the salary mass. Franck Kessie is understood to be in Paris already, where his medicals will be held before the move to the Saudi Arabian club is finalized. An announcement could arrive today itself. So finally, Franck Kessie is leaving Barcelona. I wish him all the best. We all wish him the best. I think Franck Kessie have been very professional in his attitudes. And of course, I think there's nobody who can blame Franck Kessie for whatever thing that happened. Franck Kessie wanted to stay. He wanted to stay at all costs. But Xavi spoke with him and said, look, there's no chance for you next season. And for the betterment of your career, you better look somewhere to play football next season. Honestly, Franck Kessie is a good player. And just the fact that next season he will not have the game time that he really wants to. Because Ilkay Gundogan, Oriol Romeo, Frankie de Jong, Pedri, Gavi, the midfield is really choked up, So it's very tricky. It's a very, very tight midfield, and Franck Kessie will not really enjoy next season if he could have stayed. And I think that the player have really evaluated the whole situation to decide what's best for his career, which is very, very important. And rather than staying to force yourself in somebody's plans when he have already told you that you are not part of his plans, the best thing is just to move on. Yes, it's sad that Franck Kessie came for a 5-year contract at Barca last season when he came, but he just played for 1 season. And of course, his agents have always said Franck Kessie was still trying to adapt to the Barca style. We know that Franck Kessie is not that type of, technical player, and he wanted to use time to get acquainted with the way Barca operates in their philosophy. And one season was not that enough. So it just happened that Xavi had no patience, and also coupled with the fact that Barca were really desperate to sell players because we know that we need to regulate our financial fair play situation, and player sales were very, very important. I think that's just the issue. Franck Kessie was unfortunately the scapegoat in that. But all all the best for Franck Kessie moving forward as he will be heading to Saudi Arabia. Of course, it's a little bit of a surprise as we know that Franck Kessie have mostly been linked to Juventus this past summer. But I think that the player does not want to go to Serie A again. I think he have once said he does not want to go to Serie A. He wants to keep on playing in other leagues around the world. And I think that was a disadvantage from Juve's point of view. And more to the fact that Juve are not even playing European football. They have been banned completely from Europe as well, which have really caused a lot of damage to their transfers this summer. Premier League clubs too, Tottenham was showing interest, but Tottenham was not even too serious. That is why when Franck Kessie was waiting for Tottenham to make a move, they didn't make any move, and that is why he had to opt for the Saudi Arabian Pro League. Then on to the next story of discussion. As Barcelona look to shore up their ranks ahead of the new season, one of the club's priorities is to sign a new right back. Joao Cancelo of Manchester City has emerged as the ideal option for coach Xavi Hernandez. The club have reportedly agreed personal terms with the player as they look to lure him away from the Etihad. However, as much as Barca rate Cancelo, the club are worried about certain aspects of the Portuguese international. According to Mundo Deportivo, the Catalans have conducted an in-depth analysis of Cancelo, both on and off the pitch. Following the analysis, the club have found that Cancelo's attitude could be a problem at Camp Nou. The player, after all, had previously had falling out with almost every manager he has been playing under. Cancelo fought with Luciano Spalletti at Inter Milan and issues with Julian Nagelsmann at Bayern Munich. The Portuguese international had a falling out with Pep at Man City, which ultimately convinced the English champions to offload the player this summer. Despite Cancelo's slightly questionable record with managers, Xavi is confident of handling the right back at Barca. The Spaniard believes his experience as a player could come in handy as he looks to shepherd the Manchester City superstar. Xavi has built quite the reputation for being a man manager during his spell at Barca so far. Not to mention, he has been responsible for helping Barca rope in a host of star talents in the recent past. So, guys, with that, we have come to an end of this episode. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time. Bye bye.